Đậu gắn đâu. Đậu xin lạ đi à. Allah!
Late one Saturday night in Tamara Rakat Jaya, a housing complex in Kuala Dungan, Malaysia, a group of college guys were live streaming on Facebook, probably for their female followers. Having a blast and celebrating the end of the semester, the night was supposed to be all about fun, finally blowing off some steam after months of studying. But what started as a laid-back boys' night quickly took a terrifying turn when they suddenly heard a loud, echoing bang from outside. Here's what they caught on camera that night.
Pintu ni bunyi ni. Ha? Oh, sana buka ni. Kenapa? Kau itu ni, cik. Dia dah masuk ni. Cukup. Lampu tutup belum?
Luar ketang, luar ketang.
Bimbang.
Pia. Siapa tu pipi? Pia.
Ya. Đậu gắn đâu. Đậu xin lạ đi à. Allah Akbar. Bodoh. Ya Allah. Bodoh. Babi gua ya Allah. Allahu Akbar.
After checking every inch of the house for an intruder, they head back to the living room, only to find a shadowy figure just standing there in the corner. How did that get there? They had definitely recorded the room when they left, and everything looked normal. So how did the lights suddenly turn off, and that creepy figure show up out of nowhere? Were they being pranked by a friend, or did something way more sinister drop by that night? You decide.
Do you remember the popular horror flick, The Grudge? The movie set in torn houses and old lanes of some weird looking unkept Japanese city. We think anyone having a penchant for the horror genre would remember that creepy girl, Kayako, clad in a white gown with a face fully covered in hair. She gave us all sleepless nights for so long. How can you forget about that freaky ghost? There's absolutely no denying that nothing can be scarier than an evil female yokai. So today, the horror lover within you is in for a real treat because the sinister Onryo makes a comeback to freak out an innocent human yet again. Watch at your own risk because this video will instill within you a sense of creepiness that you have never experienced before. Undoubtedly, a wraithful Onry is enough to make you fearful of entering your home. Did you miss the best part? Don't worry, we'll replay it for you this time. Watch closely. Do you believe this figure to be a Japanese ghost? Let us know in the comments below.
Shout out to Mohammed Avi, a fan who sent this creepy video to our Facebook group. We appreciate you. Let's take a look at the footage first, shall we? What appeared to be a flame person holding his staff was seen falling from the sky in Brazil. After witnessing it, this man immediately pulled out his phone to catch it on camera.
Aqui, gente, ó. Acabou de baixar aqui no Córrego Blay aqui, ó. Olha aqui. Acabou de baixar. Baixou agorinha aqui no Córrego Blay. Aqui, gente, ó. Acabou de baixar aqui no Córrego Blay aqui, ó. Olha aqui. Acabou de baixar. Baixou agorinha aqui no Córrego Blay.
Many believe this video to be the aftermath of a genuine UFO sighting the government would have loved to keep away from the general knowledge. But from what we've seen over the years, it could easily be a glowing effect applied to that figure during post-production editing. Did you notice how it's not even moving? The person recording keeps saying it literally just fell there, but why stay still after falling from the sky? The fact that we only get to see it from one angle certainly makes it a tad harder to analyse, but we'll let you be the judge on this one.
This next scary video might leave you double checking all your fun night out videos. These ladies were having a blast, singing their hearts out and recording a TikTok to remember. But little did they know, they weren't the only ones wanting to be in the spotlight. Keep those eyes peeled, especially on the top right hand corner. Bet you missed it, didn't you? Look closely. Just as the party's in full swing, a ghostly face decides to photobomb, lurking right behind one of the women. She even flings herself around, almost as if she felt it. But here's where things get murky. With no other witnesses or videos to back up this eerie appearance, how do we know it's not just someone in a costume? Could have been a Halloween-themed night out and that was just a staff member for all we know. But what's your take? A genuine ghostly gatecrasher, or a complete misunderstanding? Let us know what you think.
The depths of the forest seem to attract all sorts of groups. Kids building bases, adults hiking, wildlife frolicking, and, skinwalkers.
I just wanted to show you guys my cool base that I made a while ago with my cousin. It's really nice. See, we got the entrance all fenced off. Got this thing, I don't know what it is. Oh. Well, that stinks. But yeah, we got some chairs. What was that? Is that a cow? What is that? Oh, frick!
No idea what that was, but it wasn't any kind of cow we have ever seen, as the original poster seems to believe. No clue why seeing a pale humanoid frame made this guy's head immediately jump to cattle. Some people mentioned the possibility of this being the rake, but what do you think? Is this kid putting a fast one, or are those pesky skinny cows roaming the forests, waiting to strike?
Oh, frick!
A huge shout out to our viewer Colin Lego for sending us this creepy clip via email. While on an early morning dog walk, Colin's pooch decided it was due time to pull towards the abandoned church graveyard, Scooby-Doo style. Colin wasn't extremely keen on the idea, considering the sky was still on the brink of sunrise, but he thought it would be a laugh to record it. But those laughs soon turned into wet pants, and not in the way you think. Take a look.
Hey, what's wrong? Saffron. She does that when she sees someone. Like a human. Don't be doing that, there's no one there. Oh, God. When she sees another walker, she does bark. And there's no one here. This is the old part of the churchyard. What is that sound? She's up for it. What's that sound, Saf? You got your leg under your lead, you Wally. Come on. For a little dog, she's quite stubborn. There's nothing over there. There's nothing over there. Come on, let's go. You found a stick? What is that sound? Yeah, I know. No, you're desperate to go that way, South. We can't go that way. There's no path that way. There's no path that way. Probably imminent death. Absolutely nothing. Wait, what was that that went past the lens? Was it a bug?
Safi the dog could sense something was up from the get-go. She only does this when she can see somebody. Turns out she wasn't the only one who saw something that night. This could be some fog, or even Colin's breath, but he was too quick to show us that the weather was extremely mild that morning. It wasn't cold enough for either of those, so what could it have been? The Scooby Gang called it quits pretty quick after they saw that, but not before they got one more spook. It sounds like a small child saying, "little dog." Again, a huge thanks to Colin for sharing his footage with all the Spookfest goers. You've probably heard references and jokes about sleep paralysis demons. We've also been known to make some here. But have you ever thought about the real-life nightmare that is feeling perfectly conscious, seeing your bedroom, but being unable to move or speak? This guy suffers from it a lot and began recording himself while he slept to see what he did while he was mid-Dreamland freak show. And it sounds awful. He's screaming for help so desperately in his dream that it translates into real life. After requests for more videos, he posted another episode that caught something even more horrifying. Can you see the black mass on top of him? It's not uncommon for sufferers of sleep paralysis to experience some kind of shadow person inching its way on top of them. In fact, even the famous 1781 painting, The Nightmare, by Henry Fuseli, is believed to be a depiction of sleep paralysis. So it's been around for a long time. The Hat Man is infamously associated with sleep paralysis, and too much Benadryl. He is a tall, dark shadow figure who dons a wide-brimmed hat, and has been an urban legend for years, but the freakiest part is that it's been witnessed by people from all over the world. There are similar well-known figures and faces like the Hat Man, such as this man. No, that's actually what everyone calls him. This man. In 2006, people reported seeing a specific man's face in their dreams. 2 years later, Italian psychologist Andrea Natella created the website Ever Dream This Man? And she posted a drawing of the man's face based on people's testimonies. You might recognize him, whether from a sleep paralysis experience or a normal dream. While paranormal sounding, the actual background of sleep paralysis could be more scientific. Scientists believe it happens when you regain consciousness while your eyes basically still think you're asleep, so you aren't able to move your body. They also believe it's often caused by things like anxiety disorders, high stress levels, and lack of sleep, which causes your brain to make your world a living, breathing horror movie. However, many paranormal fans believe that sleep paralysis can be considered paranormal, as it often occurs when we're in the theta brainwave state, transitioning between wakefulness and sleep. In this state, our sensory perceptions might tune into the spiritual realm, where we sense something that science labels as energy, and religious texts might call spirit. These sleep paralysis encounters, where spirits interact with us, exploiting our fear to feel powerful, align with many descriptions of paranormal experiences reported around the world. Whichever side of the argument you're in, if you're interested in experiencing what it looks and feels like, YouTubers REM Sleep Chant horror films created a reenactment based on real accounts of those who experienced it. If you suffer with it, let us know how close this is to the real experience. If you haven't, sit back and enjoy.
We all have that one friend who we know is terrible to wake up. But honestly, it could never be as bad as this creepy video posted by Back Jin. We couldn't find much background story on this clip, aside from the extremely ominous description. A family performing rituals to exorcise evil spirits. But what happened was so terrifying. And they weren't lying. Take a look.
แม่เอ้ยแม่พามาแล้วได้แม่นอนแล้วได้นี่แม่กดเอาเด้อแม่พางมาหาแม่หมอแล้วนี่แม่กดเอาแม่ก็เป็นเดือนแล้วก็นี่นะเป็นได้เดือนนี้มันแม่หมอ2 คืนมันจะนอนแล้วรับคืนแล้วมันจะเหลือมันจะมือไปก็อีกด้านนึงมือไปหลักเขาหมอในหมอเดินไปเด้อดาวดีด่าเด้อ
Soon after starting the ritual, this family's worst nightmare springs to life. What was once her eyes have now become lifeless voids of pure darkness. In a desperate attempt to eradicate the evil from the girl's body, Her family tried to stop her drinking the dark, mysterious substance that came out of the egg used in the ritual, but it doesn't seem to have much effect, because soon after she collapses, the true horror begins. The VHS feel that we get from this scary video makes things even creepier, almost as if it's part of a clever creepypasta or a real horror movie. But one thing's for sure, we should probably leave the exorcisms to the priests. Don't you agree? Let us know what you think about this weird clip.
You've seen Twin Paranormal investigating haunted places in the States. The Ouija brothers uncovering strange happenings in the UK's creepiest abandoned buildings. Adventures Jassim kicking ass against Arabian jinns. And of course, outdoor Xiaolong cursing about someone's ghastly Japanese mama. But there's one thing you have never seen. What poltergeist activity looks like in Portugal. That's because no one else dares to investigate the real paranormal activity present in Portuguese haunted buildings, other than one single group of ghost hunters in the whole country, Yuri and his team. And when they stumble upon this paranormal hotspot with a heartbreaking history, they decided to go back for a Facebook livestream to catch the creepy activity in real time with their audience. This house was built in the 1800s as a shelter for the elderly. After seeing its fair share of death and tragedy, the poverty crisis in Portugal forced the house away from the public and into the hands of a wealthy family. Slowly but surely, they all passed over, and by the early 1990s, the building was left abandoned, with many reports of strange noises coming from inside since then. Of course, these relentless ghost hunters had to investigate this and other abandoned buildings surrounding the area. Let's start with the first clip from one of their multiple live streams. After over an hour of trying to catch real evidence of paranormal activity, they decided to leave. When they closed the door, one of the team members realized it was open again. However, he was the last one to leave. The team wanted to go home, but Yuri was way too excited about it, so they decided to go back and investigate further. However, they soon realized that whatever was present in that house really didn't want them there.
Espera aí, vou ver se está bem fechado. Agora ganho a curiosidade, mano. Eu esqueço, quando começo a ganhar a curiosidade até me cago. Meu. Ouviram? Só por curiosidade. Só por curiosidade. Pode fechar essa porta? Consegue fechar esta porta? Eu dou aqui dois por causa do assim. Pode fechar a porta para nós, faz favor. Estás a brincar, mano. Estás a brincar, mano. Ok, até amanhã. Obrigado. Estás a gozar, mano. Foi mesmo na nossa tromba, mano. Mano, agora vou. Não, isto não vejo uma mulher.
Sim.
Não, mano, não pode. Peraí. Não venham com putas de palhaçadas para o meu lado. Agora vão dizer o que eu vendo?
Segue.
Só vou experimentar mais uma vez.
Ele fechou-te a porta.
Não, eu vou experimentar.
Não insistas. Não insistas. Segue o teu caminho.
É que ele há bocado fechou a portinha até
Ele abriu e fechou devagar. E agora fechou-te a porta na cara com força. Segue. Anda. Não insistas.
Surely there was someone behind the door, right? That question is exactly the reason why they decided to go back once again and prove that there was no trickery involved in any of their live streams. And boy, did they prove it.
Mano. Mano, não está ninguém. Mano, não está ninguém. Estás a brincar comigo. Então, estás a brincar comigo? Não está ninguém, mano.
This time, they darted straight to the door so they could prove that there was no one there. They decided to continue the investigation and caught the door closing on its own a few more times, but the audience still needed more proof. The angle wasn't quite right yet, so they kept on trying.
Mano, a porta está a fechar. Mano, a porta está a fechar. Ok. Foda-se, cai fora, mano. Cai fora. Cai fora. Ouviste? Ouviste mesmo que ouvi? Viste a pancada? Oh, mano. Tchau. Boa noite. Tudo bom? Não, mano. Mas a gente faz o quê? Até porque é que não vamos comunicar ali?
Tu quiseste sair?
Oh, mano, pera, não. Foda-se, eu não vou fugir, mano. Então eu faço isto para provar que isto existe e agora estou a fugir disto. Não, mano, não pode ser. Não bate certo. Não, vamos comunicar cá dentro.
After asking many questions for over 20 minutes, with the touch-activated teddy going off near the door, they decided to come outside again. And, of course, the door closed on its own just to piss them off, when all they really wanted was to capture it from the inside while showing that there was no one behind the door. But eventually, this happened.
Podes voltar a fechar esta porta. Agora digam que é vento. Agora digam que é vento, pessoal. Nem fechou toda agora. Só assim. Obrigado. Com licença. Sai.
It could be just a breeze, right? But if that was the case, it would have been a hell of a storm considering there's a huge hole in the door. The air would just pass through the hole rather than shut the door. Plus, we would have heard the wind in the microphone anyway.
And why did the door close slowly to then stop and ended up slamming on its own? The floor isn't uneven either, otherwise the door would close pretty quickly every single time someone leaves it open. But wait, maybe there's someone outside pulling a string, right? Well, we can't see anyone, not even when he went outside straight after the door closed during this livestream. However, this was far from being the only livestream where something strange happened on camera. During another stream, they spent over an hour trying to catch something paranormal. That's when they found these pictures inside a drawer and decided to place them near other items from that house. But after a long time of recording, they finally captured this.
Não. Opa. Ouvi.
Oh, Deus, que susto agora, caralho, desculpa.
Estava a mexer. Quando vi pôr a pedra.
Isso não é normal, mano. Mas porquê sempre a mesma foto, mano?
E só cai uma.
E só cai uma.
Agora se estava mesmo lá o H fixo.
Cagaste tudo, não? Já te viste habituar a estas manifestações.
Unlike most ghost videos we see online with poor image quality, this livestream, filmed in HD, clearly shows no strings or mechanisms. The picture was there for ages without falling, although it could have been a draft. If that was the case though, why didn't the other picture fall too? It doesn't make sense. The guys didn't back down either, even after a few other disappointing streams where they caught jack shit, but the activity kept picking up with other visits and things starting to get a little up close and personal in this next live stream.
Boa noite. Tudo bem? Podes dar um sinal da tua presença aqui. Estás a mandar aquele peluche ao chão ou assim? Estás a gozar, mano.
We can't see any way they would be able to hide a string in plain sight, especially considering the high video quality and the fact that this was captured live for their Facebook audience, as well as the many instances when they got the camera pretty close to the teddy. All this bravery did not go unpunished though. During yet another livestream, they didn't get a paranormal punch in the face. Instead, they got something worse. Take a look.
O que é que tu tens aqui, mano?
Oh, foda-se. Mostra. Filma aí para eu ver assim mais depois. I just saw that. Ah.
segura lá. Eu tenho uma fotografia para tu ver.
Ah, foda-se. Ai, cara, tá-me a doer pra caralho.
Yuri began to groan in pain, and when he lifted his shirt to rub his back, everyone was in for a shock. He was covered in scratches. It could have been something dodgy, but it all happened so suddenly. Of course, you probably know by now that Mr. Goose Pimples is Portuguese, so you can imagine his happiness when he found out all about the activity Yuri and his team managed to capture in Portugal, especially considering this team of ghost hunters are the first and only paranormal investigators in the whole country. These guys truly do give every single investigation their all, so make sure you head over to their YouTube channel and subscribe for more hair-raising content just like this.
This clip, posted to Reddit by Mengete, will have you triple checking that everything is locked up tight before you call it a night.
Tô louco, meu. Que isso? Sinistro, né? Tô louco.
The quality might be a bit buggy, but there's definitely something weird going on. How was the door slamming open and closed so violently? Perhaps it was some really smooth editing, or a bit of aggressive poltergeist activity. What do you think?
After hearing stories surrounding the creepy events that went on inside a haunted hotel in Tokyo, these guys decided they just had to go check it out for themselves. When they finally managed to get inside the building, they didn't see much but a messy, desolate place. Well, that was until they started finding unsettling pictures of body parts, a Texas chainsaw figurine, and clothes hanging around in weird places. While investigating the rooms, they left some cameras recording the strange objects they found there, but they didn't catch anything special, or so they thought. When they reviewed the footage back, they found something impossible. Take a look. Creepy, isn't it? The figurine doesn't move, and the light source remains exactly the same, yet the shadow seems to gain a life of its own. The only possible explanation for this, other than paranormal activity, would be some cheeky editing, but everything seems to point to tragedy. Could that be the cause for the strange events people have been reporting there over the years? Safe to say, the pair didn't stick around for much longer after the terrifying pictures they found, and I bet you wouldn't either.
After watching paranormal investigators Punk Rock TV take on a haunted location, YouTuber Miguelo77 decided to channel his inner Mr. Beast. Except instead of handing out money, he planned to test his luck against the dead. His challenge? Spend the night in a house where the ghosts of 2 girls have reportedly been seen. So, he packed his gear, grabbed his tent and flashlights and headed straight for the abandoned twin houses in the middle of nowhere. Little did he know, he was going to need a lot more than camping supplies to make it through the night. After setting up his tent right in the room where the channel claimed to have seen ghosts, and casually ignoring the pentagram on the floor, Miguel kept things light, chatting with his followers. But then, things took a chilling turn. A faint humming drifted through the night, just audible enough to make his skin crawl, and as if on cue, the distant, relentless barking of a dog set the perfect unnerving backdrop. Locals say this house has a dark history. Some believe occult rituals were performed here after it was abandoned. Others claim children were brought here for disturbing reasons. At first, Miguel brushed off the humming, telling himself it was just his mind playing tricks. But what happened next? That was all too real to ignore. Watch this.
Me asusté bien cabrón. Verga, verga, cálmate, cálmate. No te sugestiones. Cálmate, cálmate. Es el viento, es el viento. A huevo que es el viento. Bueno, amigos. Me asusté, cabrón. Se están escuchando bien cabrón acá arriba desde hace rato. No he podido dormir.
Lying in his tent, waiting for something, anything to happen, Miguel suddenly heard footsteps. Then, the slow, grating sound of something scratching against a wall. Whatever was out there was getting closer, and then, snap, his tent jolted. His heart nearly jumped out of his chest, but no, just the wind. That was his cue. This was a mistake. He packed up ready to get the hell out of there, but the entities, they weren't done with him just yet.
¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Llama, por favor. No mames, ¿qué es eso? Vámonos a la chingada, vámonos a la verga, vámonos a la verga, vámonos a la verga.
Just as he was about to haul ass out of there, his camera shut off, right at the moment he felt something closing in fast, and when he finally turned around, he swears he saw her, a ghostly figure, just like the ones described in Punk Rock TV's video. That was all he needed. Screw the camera, he ran, probably straight to the nearest exit and a fresh pair of pants. Something tells us he won't be pulling this stunt again anytime soon.
No mames, ¿qué es eso?
YouTuber Yama Q uploaded a terrifying sequence of clips that should teach you to always be suspicious of super discounted properties. It all started with the need to find a new place to live. After getting notified by his landlord that his house needed some renovation work, he started searching the market when he hit the jackpot, or so he thought. He found a really cheap 42-year-old property, but the whole place had to be renovated, though not for the reasons you might like to think. The previous owner died within the walls of the house, which really puts a damper on the amazing price. But he couldn't pass up such a bargain, and honestly, we can't really blame him, can we? However, there's just one small problem. The water in the bathroom just won't turn on. No matter how many times he tries to get it fixed, the problem comes back soon after. We can't shake the fact that the bathroom is exactly where the previous owner died. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. After witnessing the door opening on its own and hearing some strange noises at night coming from that area of the house, he decides to set up a camera inside the bathroom, and turns out there could well be something lurking within those walls. While the bumps and bangs on this first clip could be easily faked off camera if he were to knock on the wall from the other side and either pull a string attached to the hairbrush or let it fall from the vibrations of the bangs, we still decided to continue exploring his channel to spot any mistakes, such as video editing masks or jump cuts in his footage. However, even after going frame by frame, there seems to be no visible strings or signs of fakery anywhere.
it's getting harder to debunk his footage. We could come up with theories on how the items are moved with strings, the creepy ass voice is placed on top of the footage, or the clock is part of a well done software masking technique. But without actually spotting any mistakes or signs to prove these claims, we might as well assume that the freaking place is disturbingly haunted. And when we look at this next clip, the latter starts to become more plausible. After hearing the aggressive knocking on the door behind him, he quickly pans the camera with no jump cuts and steps inside the room to prove that there is no one inside. And surely a string wouldn't be able to slide that door closed. But maybe you know another way this could be done. Let us know. But whether it's real or fake, the dude decides to do a little more digging and finds a gory shrine near his home. These shrines were used as a protection from grudge-bearing spirits who experience cruel deaths and are widely believed in Japanese culture to cause natural disasters. This shrine in particular is built on top of a prior battlefield from the Sengoku period. It was most likely built for the soldiers who were brutally murdered during the war. Could this ancient spiritual belief be tied at all to what he is experiencing in his house? In this next clip, we get another dose of bone-chilling footage. He decides to film with the bathroom door open to see if there are any changes in the weird activity, and it just gets creepier. The banging doesn't seem to be getting any quieter, but some commenters seem to believe the loud noises could be coming from the room directly above the bathroom. Perhaps Yamaku could be stomping around and shouting to create some spooky content. We quickly learned that he wouldn't be able to do it though, because there is no room above the bathroom.
After this, Yamaku attempts to find some more links between the history of the area and the activity in his house. Northeast from his new residence, he finds a dead water well, which doesn't make things look any better for him. In Japanese culture, Kimon, which translates to demon gates, are always found in the northeast direction of a city. He then decides to travel in different directions around his house to see what else he can find. To the southwest of the house, there is a park with an ancient burial mound, or a kofun, that houses the coffins of the many ancient ruling classes in Japan. There is a lot of spiritual belief in Japan, and a lot of history seems to surround his new residence. Could this be bigger than just one spirit? In the next clip, the events that take place lead him to sprint down to the bathroom window, and that's when he captures something bone-chilling. Take a look. There is clearly someone knocking from inside that room, but there's nobody to be seen. He then scuttles back into the bathroom, and the second he opens the door, the banging stops. Almost like something was waiting for him to interact with it. But no matter how spooky it gets, he remains extremely skeptical and attempts to put it all down to issues in the piping. The water hammer phenomenon could well be a possibility, considering the noise water makes when valves suddenly close can be extremely loud. Can't help but think about the convenient timing of the bangs though, the way it stops when he opens the door, and all the weird movements he recorded and shown in the past. Surely piping issues wouldn't toss bottles and incense sticks off the side. They also don't make grisly wailing noises that echo through the house. If you listen carefully, it sounds like it's coming from directly in front of the camera. He even went as far as attaching an external microphone to the camera so he could get a better idea of the direction where the sound is coming from.
As this carries on, he decides enough is enough, but he might have made a big mistake.
Haha.
His equipment looks a little out of place, but it's definitely picked up on something. Apparently, this toy picks up on noise and repeats it back to you, and when he holds it down to the road, it seems to repeat back a long, distorted, agonizing wail. As soon as he figures out the exact place where the sound was coming from, he quickly tried hitting the unseen source of the noise, just like it was suggested by one of his commenters. But it clearly didn't work, because in this next clip, we can still see him trying a different approach. As weird and funny as it all sounds, there is something that ties this story together. An ancient trial was used in Japanese courts centuries ago called gugachi, a trial where your innocence was determined by the gods after the way you handled submerging your hands in boiling water. If you came out unscathed, you were innocent. If you were burnt, well, let's just say, terrible things would happen. Perhaps the boiling water hitting the supposed spirit shocked it into silence because of its tragic past. The area where Yamakyu resides is unknown, but it is clearly built heavily upon old rituals. Many traces of futamani have been found nearby, a ritual where the shoulder blade of a stag is heated to create cracks and foresee the future. So his new residence clearly isn't a stranger to spiritual beings or practices, especially considering that there is an ancient tomb almost directly in front of its house. Is he being haunted by the ghostly apparition of the house's previous owner, or is he surrounded by thousands upon thousands of tortured souls not yet able to rest in their graves? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.
In this short but downright creepy video, someone or something was walking down the road when things took a turn to the unexplainable side. Luckily, it was all caught on the CCTV camera. Take a look.
En una vivienda en la ciudad de Puerto Viejo. El fenómeno en cuestión es tan espectacular que no necesita mayor descripción. Estas imágenes recorrieron el mundo entero y se hicieron virales gracias a las redes sociales. Sin percatarse de lo sucedido, logró captar a un espectro. Ocurre a los 7 segundos de iniciada la filmación y es necesario detenerla en este punto para apreciar de mejor manera las características de este inquietante ser.
There's something particularly eerie about this pale and thin figure. Comment section was filled with alien theories and believers, with no doubt this is a full-bodied apparition, and even skeptics struggling to explain it. But let's not rule out the fact that many people out there would go to great lengths to fake a ghost video and push their propaganda or grow their social media accounts. And since they didn't provide any backstory, we'll leave this one up to you to decide.
This footage is one of the scariest poltergeist hauntings we have ever seen, and that is no joke, because we have seen plenty, as you can probably guess. This harmless looking kid seems to be possessed, or something is trying to snatch him away. Naturally, his mum is devastated. The kid needs help, and you need to find out what could be wrong with him. Let's watch. This kid is making waves all over the media due to this somewhat creepy aspect of his life. Clearly, he is horrified and clueless about whatever is happening to him. But you need to tell us. Was it raw, paranormal activity footage or excellent editing skills? Leave a comment below with this clip's number and the words real or fake. We cannot wait to know what you think about this one. We all have that one friend who claims to have seen a real cryptid on one of his road trips at stupid o'clock. Usually, we're like, yeah right mate, but what if it's true and caught on his dash cam? Will you believe him? Trevor is that one friend, and what he caught during his last tour of Galliet on the 3rd of February 2024 left him with a chill running down his spine. Take a look. A weird figure darts from the right into the obscurity of the night. What in the hell could be prowling the woods at about 3 in the morning? And get this, it was running on 2 legs, not 4 like a typical wild animal. You see, Nathia Gali is notorious for their mischievous monkeys and weird antics. They're every tourist's nightmare. But then, since when did monkeys become nocturnal animals? But on the flip side, what if it was something way more sinister? A cryptid, an alien? We'll let you be the judge.
When the YouTube channel Urbex with Taffy explored an old freaky World War II bomb store, they were hoping to catch any signs of paranormal activity in the underground bunker. The place is said to be haunted by the ghosts of soldiers who were trapped and died there. It used to be known for shadowy figures and disembodied voices echoing through the concrete walls. But lately, it's been as quiet as a closed-down amusement park. So, the team geared up expecting this to be just a walk in the park. Little did they know, the place still had a few surprises in store. Here's a clip of what went down that night.
Okay guys, so we've moved to a different part of the bomb store. So we're going to try shouting out and see if we catch anything. I'm just here with Exploring with Carl, and Urban Legend is just, he's downstairs just checking some bits out. So that's Carl waving, so if you can just see there's Carl, okay? Right, so, is there anyone in here with us? Would you make a sound? If there's anyone in here, just make a noise. What the f***?
As they tested their sound and visuals one last time before exploring various parts of the site, they decided to call out to see if someone or something might respond. Lo and behold, a shadowy figure suddenly peeked right in front of them. Who or what the hell appeared in the darkness? Skeptics might argue that this was probably another member of their team, or perhaps a homeless wanderer having a laugh, but paranormal enthusiasts suggest that the urban legend might still be alive after all. Besides, the team swore that the other guys weren't even close to their location, and when they eventually searched the area, whatever or whoever made that eerie appearance had gone poof. So what do you think? Real ghostly apparition, or a fun piece of paranormal entertainment? Let us know.
Literal nightmare fuel and the horrific crashing sound that followed, those sounds were coming from everywhere all at once. You can see someone or something rattling the doorknob before it slides open. Ignore the cart being pushed, but not the toppling disc cases. We will never know.